Welcome to BitBoy Crypto.
We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. yeah. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the People Channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every single day on this channel, as you guys know, we keep you in the know about crypto. Nobody does it better. 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are actually officially directly on time today, as you guys know. It is Thursday, July 28th. It is 75 degrees here in the BitBoy Crypto studio. We had an in-studio guest yesterday. So I'm posting a bunch of stuff on Twitter. DZ was apparently it made him the host of the show. Had him taking pictures up here on the on the display, I guess you could say. It's pretty good stuff. If you guys are ever, if you're in the Atlanta area, you want to check out a show, you can email info@hitnetwork.com. We might be able to get you on the list. So appreciate it whenever we do that. Guys, Bitcoin ripped yesterday. We're going to be bringing on a blockchain backer at 11:45 to discuss what is going on with the charts, because obviously yesterday was a very volatile day. Now, we discussed this a little bit yesterday about how it seems like over time, a lot of this stuff that we're expecting is getting baked in. Now, will the GDP numbers today that are coming out, will those be baked in? We don't know, but they were already baking in a potential 100 BIP raise yesterday. And we said yesterday, when it comes out at 75, which I expected, a great chance we would see Bitcoin run. And that's exactly what we saw. Now, I didn't think we'd see it spike as hard as it did yesterday. But Blockchain Backer will be on a little bit later to show you exactly, exactly what the charts are showing, how it hit yesterday, where are we going from here. You guys know my stance on this. And some people have said we can get a relief rally up to 40K. I don't see that. But I still believe all this is a relief rally. And over this year, I still do think we see a little more downward action here. Fino says, Ben is a sex symbol. Wow, this is a new one. I haven't heard this one before. This is good. So they say I look shirtless. Do I look shirtless? Y'all have got more faith in my tan than I have.
Definitely see your nips, that's for sure.
Well, guys, I don't know if you've noticed this, but my nipples are hard all the time. There's no getting around it. Somebody said something in the we had our little birthday celebration for our July birthdays here at BitBoy Crypto, and one of my brothers that actually works here, he says, "Oh, is it a little cold here?" Mm-hmm. No, there's always hard. Sorry, guys, that's just the way it goes. When you're excited, like I am all the time, very passionate. Don't make me rant about nipples. I'll do it. Somebody will make me a new nipple painting like they did that one time. So anyways, guys, I'm actually taking off at 12 to go head to LA for NFT Expo. Gonna be real exciting. I'm gonna be speaking up there. Always good time to see the NFT homies. And so DZ will be coming on and finishing the show. So he's gonna get to a lot of the stories, but I did definitely want to talk about the BIP raise yesterday of 75, what that did for the price. A lot of this stuff is getting baked in. I did this tweet on Twitter, which is, as you guys know, my favorite place to do the tweets. They say my volume's still a little low.
Yes, I'm telling them to turn up their headphones.
Turn up your headphones, sir.
Yeah.
Turn up your headphones. So basically, and don't forget, we do have, we're doing a giveaway with Rare Bloom. You guys are gonna get one lifetime BitLab Academy membership, $1,200 airfare for 2 to the event, 1 hotel room at the venue, free upgrade to VIP, $500 spa package for 2. So you guys can check that out. It's my pinned tweet right now if you want to go look at that. And also did want to shout out Crypto Keeper. Somebody comes on around the blockchain a lot. This is their NFT project that they are doing. And it's a free mint. They've got a free mint going on tomorrow. So if you guys go to my Twitter page, you can get access to check this out. Definitely like to support the homies. It's called Danger Close Alpha. Pretty interesting concept having to do with survival and doomsday prepping and stuff like that. But the tweet I had, this is what I think we're going to see going forward. GG with the $20 super chat. Good morning, Ben. Could you please wish my wife, Marta, happy birthday? Well, happy birthday, Marta. I am so glad that you're alive another year. And, this is going to be a fantastic year for you. Maybe not for your crypto portfolio, but in a couple years, it's going to be great. So happy birthday, Marta. We appreciate you. This is what I think is going to happen. I believe rates will continue to go up until it reaches the 3.5 to 4% range. Keep in mind, right now, we are already at 2.5%, which is exactly where things were before the pandemic when they lowered the rates. In the December FOMC meeting, which I think is a little redundant because I think meeting is the M there, but regardless, I think we will get the returning of quantitative easing. The end of 2023, early 2024, we'll have some type of crisis that will start to reverse the interest rates. Think about how this all bodes well for Bitcoin, or how it bodes for Bitcoin. Guys, I think we're getting a perfect setup here. I think we're going to end up having a perfect setup when things start heading back up. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in 2024, because what else is in 2024? What's the big thing in 2024? U.S. election, right? Presidential election. We have the Bitcoin halving event, of course, also coinciding there. So will we get some kind of black swan event that pushes people to vote one way or the other? You know, maybe that's something they're looking to do. But the question is, we've been talking a lot about what we're going to do, like when they're going to stop raising the rates, when they're going to put the QE in. But I tell you what people are not talking about is, when are they going to start reverse the rates and move them back down? If we get higher than we were in 2019 or 2020, what do you think about that, TJ? Oh, TJ's back, by the way.
Yeah. Hey.
There
I'm
he
back.
is. Are you in the neck brace? I can't see.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, TJ's
I
in the
can't-
neck brace, guys.
There you go. There's the.
There you go.
Holy cut.
I had people send you thoughts and prayers for your surgery.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you should. My line is, I got jumped by a whole gang, and they came at me with a knife, and I got out alive. So that's pretty good.
That's good.
No, the rates coming back down. It'll be interesting. I don't know when. I don't see it happening soon.
No.
That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
You know, I think they're going to slowly continue to go up. I think you mentioned, I don't know if this was on stream or if we were just talking about it, moving mortgages to like 40-year
40 years,
mortgages.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be what they're going to do. Still use the housing market to prop a lot of this stuff up, because I know people need a place to live, but they can't afford to make those kind of payments. But if they get you in 40, 50-year mortgages, which is insane, I think that's the direction they're going to go.
Yeah. It's just something, you know, you got to kind of forecast in the future and see what's coming. You got to be kind of prepared. TJ, what they're all asking about your neck brace. Why do you have a neck brace on?
So I had a pinched nerve in my neck for years that I was putting off getting surgery for, trying to avoid surgery, trying to fix it with stretching, decompression, anything you can think of. Tried for about 2 years, never made any progress. So they fixed it. And somebody said I look taller. Believe it or not, he did say I will be a tiny bit taller now, because that basically I had no disc in one of my between C5 C6 on my spine. So they had to go in, put a little spacer in there, and shave down on a bone. Yeah, so it wasn't fun, but
Well, if you're 5'9", which is exactly average male American height, and you're a little bit taller now, I guess you could say that you're tall.
yeah,
TJ is tall, everyone.
I'll stick with average.
I like it.
I'll take average.
Average.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and move to the markets here and see what's going on. Let's see how many more coins we got. We got 2 more coins. 20,384 coins coming in. We got exchanges staying at 500. Market cap back up big. I mean, it was approaching 1.1 trillion last week. Got a big reverse. Went all the way back down to what were we at yesterday? Like 960 billion, 960. Now we're back over a trillion. Almost back to 1.1 trillion at 1.073. And look at that volume. Massive volume, over 100 billion, 106 billion in volume. Bitcoin dominance looking like it's staying the exact same, but look at this ETH dominance. We are back at 19, guys. We are only 1.3% away from the high that ETH had against Bitcoin during the bull run. Usually what we see the reversal of this. We see Ethereum dropping, losing ground versus Bitcoin. A lot of big YouTubers out there. I'm not supposed to mention on the channel anymore. A lot of big YouTubers out there thinking that this Bitcoin dominance is going to go way back up. I've been telling you from the beginning of this bear market, that is not going to be true. Ethereum will make up a lot of ground on Bitcoin, and the ground in Bitcoin dominance that Bitcoin would have is going to be eaten away by Ethereum. So I don't think we're going to see over 50% dominance again. I don't know if we'll ever see 50% dominance again for Bitcoin. Once this ETH merge kicks in, I mean, this is big news. You know, I think we're going to be in for something, you know, really, really special. So, Ben, can you explain the dominance percentage for us noobs? Well, absolutely. It's very simple. If you just go to CoinMarketCap, you go to the top, you can click on this chart, and it will take you to a page that has 3 different charts. It has the total market cap by numbers, total crypto market cap. And then down here's the Bitcoin dominance chart. As you can see, back in 2013, when this started beginning to get tracked, there were not hardly any altcoins out there. And you can see Bitcoin dominance was around 96% at the peak right there. Maybe it's a little bit higher here, 96.33%. Moving into the halving in 2016, you see what happens. It starts taking a drop as Ethereum launched. Ethereum was really, and Ethereum is the purple line down here. Ethereum was truly the catalyst for altcoins, and for this Bitcoin dominance dropping down. So the percentage of Bitcoin dominance is how much of the total market cap does Bitcoin take up. In the last bear market, you guys can see it got all the way up to 70%, it looks like. And then when Bitcoin hit all-time highs for the first time in December of 2020, 2020. Yeah, that's right, 2020. Bitcoin dominance went all the way up to 71.89%, and Ethereum was at 10.6% right now. And you can see it looks like we just have a continuation pattern, as you can see, kind of sideways, big drop, small peak, big drop, high climb, drop again, and then sideways again. So to me, it looks like we could be potentially setting up for a massive drop in Bitcoin dominance here soon. And guys, people are just way more interested in altcoins than they were before. So, the Ethereum dominance is also a number you can look at, as you can see, 19%. They're the only two it shows. And this is more evidence of what I tell you guys that, Ethereum's not an altcoin. Technically, the definition of an altcoin is anything but Bitcoin. Ethereum has now moved to its own tier, its own status, I believe. I don't consider Ethereum an altcoin anymore. And that's the reason why on CoinMarketCap, they show those two numbers only, because these two stand alone. So there you go. All right, let's go back and check the gainers of the day and stuff like that. Where did I move? Where did CoinMarketCap go? Did I just close it out? I guess so. Let me open a new tab here. Go back to CoinMarketCap. CMC, CoinMarketCap, owned by Binance. If you did not know, they bought that in 2019. Bitcoin coming at 23.5. Wow, still holding very tough, up 10%. But look at ETH, up even higher. So when you have Bitcoin pumping, a little more about the dominance. When Bitcoin is pumping, but Ethereum pumps more, that means Ethereum is eating away at Bitcoin's lead in market cap. Let's see, BNB at 275, XRP at 36 cents, Cardano back over 50 cents. Good. Solana up pretty big. Look at the biggest gainers of the day. Lido Finance still continuing to move. 48% up. Synthetics with a 43% pump. Wow, look at some of these pumps. But let's look at this in real terms. Let's check out the Synthetics pump, and then let's see what it's done over the last. So you can see it had a massive run here over the last day. Wow, it is really starting to move. It is now getting back to approaching where it was 3 months ago, which 3 months ago would have been in April when things started falling. So are we seeing a little bit of recovery? Definitely we could be right now. So interesting to see that moving. Interesting to see DeFi moving a little bit right now. As Lido Finance obviously is also, making a big move here. Lido Finance all wrapped up in the Celsius Voyager stuff. It was basically one of the degen plays that Alex Mashinsky and crew were wasting our money on, and they broke it. They basically broke Lido Finance. It wasn't supposed to be used in the way they were using it, with extreme leverage, no risk management. And because of that, it's had a gigantic crash. It unpegged, the stablecoin with it unpegged, and, caused a lot of these problems that we saw towards insolvency. So, and, speaking of insolvency with these exchanges, I got an email from Celsius last night. More documents for more lawsuits they're in and things like that with the Southern District of New York for their bankruptcy. Just very clear, guys. Alex Mashinsky, when he steps aside, this can move forward. But it doesn't look like he's still willing to do that at this point. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's bring on Blockchain Backer here. I have an earpiece. Let's see how this works. This will be interesting.
This is the first time.
First time with the earpiece.
All right, there he is.
Backer, what is going on, man? Long time no see.
Hey, what's going on, Ben? Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. What was our problem, TJ?
Oh, I just blasted my ears.
Oh, the eardrum. His eardrum is not good. Yeah, so it's been a while since you've been on. Man, we had a lot of news of XRP. I know you're an XRP guy, so that's been fun. But we bring you on to talk about the charts because everybody knows you famously will go down in history as calling the top. People say Richard Hart did as well. You did it from a technical perspective. You showed where the top was in 2021 in November. And now everybody's looking at you saying, when bottom? You know, you call it top. When's that bottom coming in? So what are we kind of looking at with the charts right now?
Sure. And yeah, Ben, you're right. On Bitcoin and Ethereum, it was just kind of clear as day for the top coming in, and it was real vocal about that. I got to take it on the chin too and have a little bit of humble pie too. I've gotten this altcoin market wrong.
Yeah.
I thought we would see more coming out of these altcoins, especially things like XRP. So that's been a pretty big complication in there as well. But Bitcoin and Ethereum, they were just kind of clear as day. And picking tops is a lot easier than it is to pick bottoms.
Yeah.
But we can look through the things that are going on right now and kind of like the things you talk about on your channel too. We can go through the past. We can say, hey, look, we have these 4-year cycles. We
Yep.
typically pull down 85%. And, that's just kind of the normal phase. But our thing's a little bit different this time because the market's kind of played out a little different. The things that we can look at, I'll go ahead and just kind of share my screen.
Awesome. And the thing is, blockchain backers, you can't win them all. You can't get every single prediction right.
Man,
and
yeah.
I know that better than anybody. We got so much stuff right, but the stuff that you get wrong, they want to focus on. But you take in a lot of information.
It means you know nothing. If you get that
absolutely.
wrong, Ben, you
One
know
thing.
nothing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So cool. All right. Well, let's take a look at what you got here.
All right, brother. Yeah. So obviously, taking a look at the altcoin market, right? The altcoin market has been pretty amazing in that we had 11 consecutive weeks of red. As we all know, we went through just complete terror in that with Luna and UST, then followed by Celsius, then followed by 3 Arrows Capital, Voyager. We all know the story of how it all happened. The amazing thing of where it stopped is it literally stopped right on the 200-week moving average and right back here at the all-time high from back in 2018 for the altcoin market, because the altcoin market topped in 2018. As we know for Bitcoin throughout history, that was always an important level back in 2014 and 15 and back in 2018, 19. So it's been interesting to see that the collective market cap of the altcoins found its bottom with pinpoint precision right there on it. So that's kind of where we've been at this point. As for like resistance and where we're heading back to, kind of still not really like in anything safe, right? If you see kind of like these are the support levels we were at, this is really where we kind of broke down. We're still back in here. A nice clean breakthrough here would be kind of like, all right, now we can kind of start looking at bigger retracement levels to come out of there. But so far, we're still kind of just back at where we broke down from right now. That's kind of the thing that's on my radar. And I saw an interesting tweet over there on Twitter the other day. It was saying, when TA guys are looking to the upside, they say, hey, we got to get through this level. Then we look to this level. Then we look to this level, and it could reverse at any one of these levels. And I think people who haven't probably been through retracements don't know that's just kind of how it is. As we go back up, we just start looking at every one of them. And then once we get into wide open spaces, off and away we go. But as we work back up, these are going to be things that we're kind of looking at. We can kind of see where we're at. But it was very interesting to see that we had the support come in there on the 200-week moving average, and that the market was the most oversold it's ever been. And that also did mark, bottoms coming in here in past history. So we've seen oversold tendencies coming in here. We're seeing the MACD starting to roll its way back up. So that's going to be it for the altcoin market.
Real quick before you move on, what did the altcoin market do in 2018 compared to the 200-week moving average?
Yeah, you can see it right here.
There it is.
So it was not as respective of the 200-week moving averages in past. So there's nothing written in stone saying that, hey, this has to obey this, because there's never been a time where it has. But what was interesting was how it did. So that's really the only observation you can make from it. It did, and that also coincided with the top that was back there in 2018, which is also interesting about Bitcoin, because right now, Ben, I've come on this show and we've had kind of back and forth dialogues on this, on just, theorizing, how the market behaved in the past in regards to when was the most exciting time in the market. For each time, it's when the parabolic top comes in. That's the euphoria phase of the market. And we know the euphoria phase of the market was right back here, back in, March, April, and May of 2021. And that, this was Laser Eyes, Diamond Hands, Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live, all that good stuff. And, whether you want to theorize, the false top theory or however you want to do it or whatnot, what's been very interesting is the behavior of the market as it's moved back down in here. But we're not going to go too deep into that. It's just kind of brief pointing out that, hey, look, the whole structure of how this fall has happened has been typical of what happens in late stages of bear markets and as endings are coming in. And that the location that it came back to for Bitcoin's market cap here was a perfect back test of its all-time high. while Bitcoin, the price, did dip down below the all-time high, the market cap actually pinpoint nailed the previous all-time
Wow.
high. And what's also interesting about that is that if we look at retracement levels, so if we go back and we look at the entire run that happened for Bitcoin from the C19 sell-off that happened back in there all the way to our top, where we pulled back to, we pulled back to the last retracement level. So we're technically still within an actual retracement in here, while also having the confluence of back testing the 2017 all-time high for Bitcoin. So will this be the bottom? Technically, Ben, I mean, technically at this exact moment in time, you could say this is nothing more than, hey, this was our big resistance back in 2017. We broke out of it and we've back tested it.
Yeah,
That doesn't go along with
really
4-year
interesting.
cycle.
That's
Yeah,
the market
it doesn't.
cap, correct? That's what you're looking at, the market cap.
Correct. And what
That's
was
very
interesting
fascinating.
about the market cap is that this was what I was using to say the top of Bitcoin's in,
Yeah.
because it was the Bitcoin market cap that reached the full 4.236 extension and not the actual price chart. So the market cap has been more respective rather than the actual real price chart. Because, you know, as time passes, supply increases, you know, there's more market, more value in the market. And I know a lot of people sit there and say, you know, market cap doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It sure does, man.
Yeah.
You could look at Ethereum, right? And Ethereum was the exact same story because Ethereum's market cap nailed a 4.236 extension up in here as well. But you could look at the Ethereum price chart and see that Ethereum itself did not even really get there, right? So we didn't even get to a 3.618 extension over here on Ethereum, but it was the market cap chart that mattered. So either way, looking at the Bitcoin market cap, I thought those things were interesting to take note of. And, you know, again, it depends on what people believe in, right? Do you believe in that we have to go down 85%? Do you believe things have to, you know, do you believe that, you know, this was the top and enough time has elapsed in the market to say, we've already done a full bear market in here, and that the, you know, the timings of things or the price
If you go back
levels
to
of
the
things
first,
are different.
if you go back to the first top, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you go back in here and you
Fascinating.
say, hey, look, this was the euphoria moment of the market. Back in here, this is where Coinbase IPO'd right in here. And you look at the time perspective of how long things took and then how this final ending all played out in here for Bitcoin and the capitulation phase and everything in here, you know, has that time already elapsed?
Yeah.
That's the big
Well,
question. And
yeah,
go ahead.
I think that it's really interesting because, you know, I'm obviously, you know, I've been saying I stick to the 4-year cycles. You know, bottom should be in by the end of November, beginning of December. But I'm also telling people, hey, it doesn't mean it's not a good time to accumulate because I can be wrong. Just like it had never gone down below the previous all-time high, and it did that in the last couple of months. So these things are not locked in to happen for sure. What we've seen with Bitcoin is over time, it generally follows the same pattern time-wise. The numbers may be a little bit different, but I think it's really good, you know, for people to consider. It's possible that the bottom is in, even though everybody's still calling for much lower news. Car for Coin here has a question on Super Chat. He says, "Does anyone remember what news event caused the 6K to 3K dip in the last bear market?" Yes, it was the hash wars. It was the hash wars between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV, where they were, you know, Bitmain was involved in it. So there's a quick answer to your question there. But what are you
You
kind
know
of
what was
advising?
funny with that one
Yeah, go ahead.
too, though?
Yeah.
I remember when that happened too. Do you remember Binance went down at that exact moment
Yeah.
too?
Uh-huh.
But
Yep.
if you go back and look, I don't know if you can, I remember it so clearly. Binance went down for like 6 hours. The second they came back on, it was like everybody's APIs went nuts and boom, the
Yeah.
market broke right when Binance came right back online.
Everybody
And that
waiting to
seemed to be
sell.
the momentary catalyst of what happened.
Yeah.
But dude, this wasn't even as scary as like the stuff that's going on in here. I think the stuff that we've been dealing with this year was more dramatic than
For
what
sure.
we dealt with back in there.
Well, we didn't have anything dramatic happening in the macro. Actually, rates were,
Yeah.
you know, rates were fine. Housing market was starting to move up. You know, obviously they didn't have the inflation was not at the level it is now. The money printing was still kicking off and going great. And this is why people always say, like, especially when I go on a traditional finance show like CNBC or something, they want to talk about the correlation between Bitcoin and the stock market. Well, right now we're in a bear market, and we should have been in a bear market time-wise. Just so happens we're also in a recession, but there's a chance they're not even really related because in 2018, the stock market was in a big bull run and Bitcoin crashed just the same. Bitcoin tends to do its own thing. We always kind of look at the macro to kind of judge what's going on with it. But, the fact is Bitcoin just keeps trucking along the same cycle.
I actually do think the macro was having a problem back in here at this time too. We'll take a peek at that in a minute because I do have the stock
Yeah.
market at the same time. But I do think we were dealing with at the end of 2018 as well. But we'll peek at that in a minute.
Yeah, there might have been
Anyways,
in general in 2018 the markets were going up while Bitcoin was going down. Maybe around the capitulation point there might have been something. I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
the point I'm getting at with this, with the price level that we're at right now, is merely that one. So far, it is a back test of the previous all-time high, and at the exact same time, this is also a 786 Fibonacci retracement. So technically, still within a retracement, and technically a back test. Will it go lower? That's the big question out there. But we could see that from a technical standpoint, this is a very interesting support level. If you were to take out this support level, the next stop down is quite a bit to go. But there's pretty compelling reasons to say that's a very, very interesting support level that we're currently at right now. And we have seen some altcoins really start to turn around already at this point. Everybody's probably got their own ones that they look at, but we got several of them that are 100, 200% off the lows already at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we had
But of course,
50% pumps for small coins yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, you still see some stuff over there on the right side of the screen right there, 14%, 12%, 18%. We're still getting some action happening right now. When I originally came on your show the first time, Ben, I believe it was in March or it was in February of earlier this year. We were in this type of moment in here. It was like, man, why do we have this bear market fractal happening within Bitcoin from the all-time high, which, then led on to, start drawing together. Hey, was this the real top in here from a on-chain perspective? And we have the deep bear market fractal that's appearing in here because this is pulled from deep into a bear market that we're suddenly having this happening way up here at the top. But one of the things too, as well, of course, is a lot of people are looking for one more dip, right? One more dip. If you were to say, hey, you're riding along in something like this, and this thing is still continuing along in here, you can kind of see, where this thing really kind of paused out in here, and then started turning itself over. Interestingly, while I was sitting in the waiting room waiting to come on the show, we've seen Bitcoin pop up a little bit more at this point. So right now, Bitcoin's kind of above a lot of the Fibonacci retracement levels in here, which is really interesting. So typically, if you're going to kind of get a reversal back down, you're usually going to get stopped out at these things. So another compelling thing for the bottom already being in. But for those who are still going with the 85% drawdown theory, or like you're talking about, hey, we got to get all the way to November or December because that's how long these bears usually take. This is kind of the structure or blueprint we can go off of that what you've seen before.
Yeah, and that's based on the second top. That estimation is based on the 70K top being the real top. So if it turns out that our little false top theory that we came up with, if that is correct, then we certainly could bottom before the end of the summer if we haven't already. So
if we haven't already, right? So there's been a lot of fear. And by the way, I forgot to wish you happy Recession Day. We get to celebrate this day together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a wonderful moment to share this together.
Yeah.
So the thing, of course, that we're looking at, maybe it's on the screen right here, with the structure that we've had right in here with Bitcoin pulling back down into these lows. And so long as it hasn't taken out this high over here again, back here at 24,300, it's still, looking awfully familiar to what happens to when another leg down eventually comes.
Yep.
So long as we're still bouncing in here, it's still looking like these past ones. So the structure currently isn't looking like a mega bull. However, if you did go and you got above $24,300, suddenly we're not looking like how these things have looked before. But currently, as we speak right now, maybe we get off this call and in 3 hours, the picture has totally changed. But right now, we're still mirroring what these things look like. But there's no telling on how deep it will go if that bottom is already in, because hey, you could pull off one of these moves in here, right? Not to say we're going to have one of these because, fortunately, man, dude, like, thank God we haven't had a whole lot more of this, Celsius and liquidations and 3 Arrows Capital stuff this month. That stuff has really calmed down this month. Thank goodness. I remember Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX saying, it seems like most issues have already dropped. And so
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot more of that stuff to look forward to.
And-
So that's great.
Yeah, what I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of the hash wars, where something internal in the crypto industry, where you had some infighting, some big institutions trying to push prices down, and that caused the final capitulation. Seems similar to Three Arrows, Capital, Celsius, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I think they were also doing like the narrative was like, all the IPOs are dumping their Ethereum. Wasn't that what it was? Wasn't that the narrative?
Well, it was. I don't know.
ICOs.
Do you remember? Do you remember it was Substratum, wasn't it? Substratum. They were, or Stratus. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Substratum, where they were shorting Ethereum at the bottom. They literally took the rest of the money that was in the project and they shorted Ethereum at the bottom. And guess what, guys? It's a dead project now. So it didn't work out too well for them. Well, Blockchain Backer, thank you so much for coming on. These have been some killer charts. Some people were asking some questions. I feel like we kind of have the answer. We had one super chat about assuming we're in a relief rally, where do you see the numbers going, or is there a dip looming? Kind of on the chart he just showed. Hard to know right now, but it looks like we're getting the same pattern that we've seen for these other dumps. Definitely, I think there is potential for another leg down there. So, Blockchain Backer, you got anything you want to leave us with today?
Yeah, man, I'll wrap this up really fast. Okay,
sure.
Ethereum, obviously, it's popped up. It's looking good, but you could see it's also back at that same resistance level of where the breakdown happened. Is it breaking out? Looking optimistic so far on Ethereum. Interesting. I agree with what you said earlier in the video or in the live stream. You're talking about the Bitcoin dominance. I'm in full agreement with that. This has not been a bullish structure to me on Bitcoin dominance in the least bit. It's totally pointing to the downside. If it goes to the upside, I would just be utterly shocked in something like that happening. But one of the main things, of course, out there is macro, like you talked about, Dow Jones Industrial Average, NASDAQ, all that stuff, man. These as well are back at their 200-week moving averages as well. They're bouncing off of levels that parabolic bubbles continue to bounce off of. So long as these levels are holding, cryptos follow the stock market. Those things are optimistic. We keep holding here. Hey, man, all gravy. And I'm optimistic that we are going to be holding those levels. And if we don't, I'll come on here and I'll say, oh, man, we're screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the case. But yeah, that's all I got for you, brother. I appreciate you bringing me on. And
absolutely, man. We always love having you on. You do a great job. There he is. There's the Blockchain Backer. You see his face. You never see his eyes. You guys make sure to check him out. We've got his YouTube channel pinned in the chat. If you guys want to follow Blockchain Backer, he's got a lot of great stuff. I love what you do. Similar to what I do. You look for those long-term patterns and lay those out. Always fascinating. So we will catch you on the next time in XRP Army. Let's go.
All right, brother. See you later.
All right, man. See you.
DZ,
would you like to come on up? DZ is going to be doing TikToks. This is his first time doing TikToks, I think, correct? So he's already done it once. He's a pro. Here's your earpiece.
Yeah.
What, is there something on my back?
Yeah, I think he pinned it.
It's connected to the ear bone?
Yeah.
All right, DZ.
Now
you can't be pro-inflation and pro-Bitcoin. You can't be pro-Fed and pro-Bitcoin. You can't be pro-centralization and pro-Bitcoin. What room am I in?
Wow.
All right.
So now we got the full cripple crew over here.
Yeah, we teamed up. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll into some TikToks. Great content by Backer, as always.
All right, later.
This is an extremely important warning for anyone in crypto. The market is about to change like crazy. Yesterday, the SEC actually accused 9 different cryptos of being securities. First one being AMP, which I know a lot of you guys hold, Rally, DDX, XYO, which I'm invested in XYO myself, RGT, LCX, I'm also invested in LCX, Power, DFX, and Crom. Now, in response to this, Coinbase put out a petition to the SEC, basically trying to speed them up and get some workable rules for crypto regulation. But in that petition, they're calling the crypto market the crypto securities market, and they're using terms like digital asset securities. So they're literally showing their submission to the SEC. Every single day, I feel more and more that the SEC is going to run with the title of security tokens. They're going to try turn all altcoins into security tokens. So to get ahead of everybody else, start researching security tokens right here. This is an extremely important warning for anyone.
I don't know how to stop it.
If I borrow money, guess what? Do I pay taxes on debt? If I borrow money, guess what? Do I pay taxes on debt?
I guess no.
Why is that? So when they lend out money, that's how money is created. Money is debt. Why is debt tax-free?
I don't know.
Because that's how money is created. And so the banks, they love people borrow lots of money. So how do I get rich? I borrow money and I buy assets with it. The poor person borrows money and buys liabilities like purses, cars, houses, and they get poorer and poorer and poorer.
For someone who talks about assets and liabilities nonstop like he does, he sure has a poor understanding of what a loan is. Yeah, the reason you don't pay taxes on a loan is because you have an automatic deduction in your money because you owed 100,000 at the same time you borrowed 100,000. Your assets didn't climb.
I think, yeah, you're right. I think the point he's trying to make there mostly is the government incentivizes you to go into debt. And because we're running on a debt-based system, they want you to take loans. But yeah, I would say,
Yeah, I agree with his thesis. That's how money is created, but he's kind of wrapping it. And, like I said, he's great for, entry-level economics.
well, I would say I've heard he talks about this a lot, and I would still say be very careful with debt. Yes, you can use it as a tool. You can use it to create leverage and gain more assets, like he's talking about. That being said, a lot of people don't manage debt effectively and get trapped with
Yeah,
it.
that's that next level asset.
Let's hop back
generation.
to the Mason.
This is an extremely important warning.
There it goes.
Nice,
Okay,
1.2 million.
Yeah, what is your take on crypto security tokens? Do you agree with them? Do you think they're going to stick with that?
I wouldn't trust any arbiter of information of this is security and this isn't a security. Sure, they're probably going to be, 80, 90% correlation or 0.8, 0.9. But I would be hesitant to recommend anything like that because you might feel a little safe saying, so-and-so said this isn't a security. Let me make some giant moon bag. And then the SEC says, yeah, it is, dummy. What are you talking about? But it's probably a good starting point. Again, do your own research. But yeah, that is something that we need to worry about. However, I found interesting. It was only about a third of the tokens Coinbase listed that said these are securities. It's going to be the newer stuff. It wasn't going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum, obviously. It's going to be, some of the newer stuff they were offering. So just do your own research, go by your gut feeling and just look at the tokenomics and look at, how it's dispersed in the beginning. I'm going to be interested to see what some of these large L1s, if they said any of those are securities. When you look at how Solana was distributed versus say a Cardano, there's definitely some differences there. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I hesitate to go out on a limb and say, I think this won't be, and I think this will be. I think we still kind of in a wait and see moment. And yes, that was an impression. I guess chat liked the impression I led with. I don't know if seems like Ben didn't know what I was doing there. You were familiar with that clip, right?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty funny.
All
All right. What? It looks like we got one more. Let's see how this goes.
All right. XRP holders, listen to this. Even non-XRP holders, listen to this. You want to know what's going to happen to XRP after the SEC lawsuit? All you have to do is look at a previous coin that had the same fate as XRP, because a lot of you weren't around in the 2017, 2018 market. There was a coin that had the same problem. That coin got sued by the SEC. In fact, it even lost its case against the SEC, but it frickin' rallied. That coin is Kincoin, K-I-N. The SEC sued and said it was a security because it was a token based on the Kik app. Do you remember the Kik app? This was their token. The price shot up to the moon once the case was over, despite the fact that they lost the case.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because I think a lot of people, you just see this across the board with traditional markets too. When there's uncertainty with something, people are going to sit on their hands. They're going to sit on their cash and wait. Once we know one way or the other, it's kind of what he's saying, win or lose, once this case is over with the SEC, should bode well for XRP.
Here's how, that's a good point. And here's how I would describe it. When every now and then you'll see a stock and their earnings were below expectations. I think we saw it recently with Google and Microsoft. People are expecting such a drastic negative.
Yeah.
And when you just get a meh instead of a yikes,
Right.
That can be, a nice parabolic run up. So yeah, people might think XRP losing equals, it's just decimated. The companies has to fold.
That won't be what's happening. And as someone, chat always points out, it's not a security in basically every other country in the world.
Right.
Now, America does have a large GDP compared to, most countries, but we're not the end all be all, especially compared to, today versus 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, every day we move closer and closer to a global economy. Crypto, blockchain obviously speeds that up quite a bit. So, yeah, that's a good point. Even if something is deemed a security in the United States, that doesn't mean there won't be other markets looking to acquire it.
Yeah, and as India's billion people and China's 1.3 billion people, more and more of them are in middle class. The United States' share of the total global economy is just going to shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink. Not going any direction but down in the near term, at least. But ready to get into some stories. First off, how you feeling? How you feeling? Chat, obviously they're wondering, Jesus, what is going on with everybody breaking bones?
I know.
Protect Frank. He's the only one not injured.
That's
I
right.
saw that, Don't worry, we're not going to hurt Frank.
Look, this just goes to show the bear markets and crypto are rough. You get beat up out here. So keep your head down and do what you can.
Yeah. Well, you can't keep your head down.
Well,
you can't.
yeah, you're right.
You have to squat at the knees.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on here. Let's talk about the economy shrinking. Is it a recession, TJ?
I would call it a recession.
I sure as heck would. I know
Feels
the
like
definition meant that forever.
Right.
We've talked about it, many times. Economy shrank 0.9%, marking second straight contraction and raising recession worries. Many would say those worries are actualities. U.S. economy is contracted for the second straight quarter, sounding the alarm over a possible recession as the nation grapples with soaring inflation and rising interest rates. The second straight quarterly decline in output meets, some say informal, some say formal threshold of recession, but not the criteria relied on recently by the National Bureau of Economic Research. I feel like I've never really, saw that hey, we are the end all be all of, is it a recession or not? It was just quarterly growth, two of them in the negative, and boom, that's a recession. This is more and more like 1984 every day.
Yep.
Yet there's little doubt that the nation is entering a perilous period. Inflation hit a 40-year high of 9.1% in June, and the Fed Reserve is trying to combat the price surge by aggressively raising interest rates in a campaign that could trigger a recession. Business investment edged down 0.1% after a 10% gain the prior quarter. Recession worries are prompting many companies to hunker down and reduce spending. I think that 10% gain is more of a outlier because of the 2021 data still kind of recovering from COVID, and economic slump was just kind of the norm for 16 month period. So now we're out of that. Now we're going to see more accurate numbers, hence the negative 0.1% on business investment. Trade is bolstering GDP for a change. After serving as a significant drag on growth early this year, trade was a big positive last quarter. Exports surged 18%. As U.S. manufacturers benefited from easing supply snarls. Meanwhile, imports rose just 3.1%. So we have exports surging 6x what our imports are going up. So that's good. That's good. I was looking at lumber prices. I was talking to a contractor. He bought some boards, $17. 1 week later, $11. So when we have supplies like that cheapen, it's a lot easier to turn on the factory, make some random, maybe you're just making ping pong paddles, people love ping pong here. Maybe you're making a little thing with a ball on the string. Then you're able to, sell your goods at a competitive rate versus the rest of the globe, because it's a lot cheaper to build things elsewhere. So we really have to have good margins if we want manufacturing in America. High minimum wage, real estate's more expensive versus an emerging market. So there's a lot of factors against us when it comes to exports. That's why we rely primarily on media and tech as our primary drivers, at least in the past few decades, I would say. All right, moving on. U.S. senators call Fidelity's Bitcoin retirement plan immensely troubling. Scary. Democrat politicians have contacted Fidelity Investments CEO Abigail Johnson, demanding to know why the firm would offer an asset volatile, illiquid, and speculative as Bitcoin in its 401k retirement plans. Have you seen Snapchat's IPO since today? While it does acknowledge that blockchains show promise and has the potential to be used for innovative and exciting applications, in its conclusion, the letter states, retirement accounts must be held to a higher standard. one that Bitcoin and other unregulated digital assets fail to meet. This asset class is unwieldy, very easy to wield, immensely complex. I'll give you that one. Unregulated, your fault. A highly volatile. Hey, we love the volatility. Our emphasis. So, yeah, the senators are awaiting Fidelity's response. I think, hey, it's your money. You want to do what you want it to. Do we want some protections for consumers? Of course we do. We're not just saying, hey, make investment markets the Wild West, but we don't want them dictating and controlling where your money, because this is just a stepping stone. Sure, block Bitcoin today. Maybe next year it's ESG companies only. You don't, just be careful. It's a slippery slope. It could get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Power tends to hold on tightly to power once it's given, and doesn't like really letting go. It'll grasp power, but it's very, very slow to let go. So we got to be very careful when we give extra power to any government agency. That's my 2 cents.
No, I would agree. And I think it's an interesting, Fidelity, obviously a huge money contributor to all sorts of campaigns and all sorts of stuff like that. If you, could be wrong, but read between the lines there a little bit. It could be the center saying, look, if you want to go forward with this product, you got to pay up a little bit more.
Yeah. It
Line
could
art-
also be Fidelity. Fidelity invests in things, and maybe the things they invest in say, hey, 8% went to this weird crypto. We noticed that our investments dropped 8%. Maybe we need to press on our senators and say, hey, no more of that speculative Bitcoin. So it could be the things Fidelity invests in wants, hey, all your money should go to us, not just part. Screw that crypto. All right, pain ahead. We don't like headlines like that. Pain ahead for algorithmic and non-cash backed stablecoins. This is coming from the IMF director, Tobias Adrian. He believes uncollateralized and algorithmically stabilized stablecoins pose too great a threat to holders, may experience more sell-offs. Believes that there could be further failures of coin offerings, including algorithmic stables, amid this ongoing winter. Also noted on Wednesday that he saw some vulnerabilities for certain fiat-backed stablecoins, referencing Tether, which he claims are not backed one-to-one with the US dollar. Earlier this month, the founder of Frax Finance, the company behind the Frax stablecoin, told Cointelegraph that he believes purely algorithmic stablecoins just don't work. I know there's one on Cardano that hasn't failed. I think there are some. Do you think this will ever be solved?
I don't know about solved. Like, I think algorithmic stable coins, somebody will, maybe crack that eventually. I think it's going to take a long time. I think it's going to be a hard road. This is something we've talked a lot about on this channel, that regulators are going after stable coins and algorithmic stable coins because they're a threat to the bond market if you can get yield on them. So they're going to shut this stuff down. I still hold that I think part of what crashed Terra Luna, the largest algorithmic stablecoin at the time, was some of these outside forces. So they can be broken. I think that was Ben said it well on the show the other day. It's not that it wasn't going to break if Citadel didn't do it. Somebody was going to do it eventually. There's always bad actors out there trying to break things if there's enough incentive for them. So I think they will regulate very heavily this space to control the stablecoin game. I think they're much more incentivized to control stablecoins than all other tokens.
Yes.
So I think a lot of times with this SEC stuff, it's kind of smoke. What do they call it? Smoke screen to let them lock down these stablecoins. Because if they can control the stablecoins, they still have control of the flow of the money and the information, the privacy, and I think that's really what they want.
Surgery affected TJ's voice, but he got taller. New polo neck, TJ. Is this the Kanye West late registration look?
Yeah, this is the Yeezy collar. So you can get them for $12,000 on his website. There's only 200 made.
Did you see Yeezy's Elon rant?
I didn't.
Yeah, he basically the summation of it was, if Elon, leave him alone. If Elon has a bad week, we have a bad life. Leave that man alone. Hey, if you want to live on Mars, definitely, that's going to be bad for you. But that's a whole nother story. We're not going to try to be the crypto TMZ here, but I think him and Sergey Brin's wife didn't do it. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
I agree.
Yeah. Hey, I hope the wife sues and gets some money for that, because it's definitely defamation. All right, fate of stablecoin bill in doubt as House Financial Services Committee misses a key deadline. The much talked about but never resolved stablecoin bill still is not ready to see the light. With Congress coming to a close in August recess beginning in days, the odds of becoming law suddenly became very, very slim. I think recess ends in September, and then they'll be back. They might say here, oh, midterm elections are coming in November, and Democrats look likely to lose the House. If that happens, McHenry seems on track to take over leadership of the committee. We'll see this a lot of times before an election. There's going to be some changes, just like the leadership of this committee. There's a lot of committees that will have 3 on one side and 2 on the other. And so when there's flip-flops of power, they will take that 3rd seat or the 5th seat, and they'll say, no, now we got 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats versus 3 Democrats, 2 Republicans. And so a lot of times what you'll see is in the final months, things just kind of stall out. Merrick Garland, for instance, with Turtle Mitch, or Cocaine Mitch, I think they call him. What he did with Merrick Garland, he kind of stalled it out. Hey, we're close to election. Let's pump the brakes. I'm not a fan of that. I say you play the game until the countdown's over. Let's not just freeze things because it's going to be more favorable for you 2 months from now. Now it's August, September, October, November. They come in January, December. January, 5 months later, January, was it 6-ish? Beginning of January is when the people elected in November come take place. So they just don't get a lot done for 5 months. Not an efficient system, not a good system. Not a big fan of that system. But all right, moving on. Speaking of, we got a little Zuck. All right, yeah, we're gonna jump over to Meta. Lost a whole lot of money. Zuckerberg unfazed about $2.8 billion metaverse division loss in Q2. This is obviously a very expensive undertaking over the next several years, said Mark Zuckerberg. What are your thoughts on founder CEOs?
What do you mean?
Oftentimes they are a little more risk taking. They're a little more radical with their changes. They're more likely to pull like a Jack Dorsey and just say, hey, we're all into Bitcoin now, or Zuckerberg, hey, we're changing our name. Versus you see, I don't want to say his name wrong, Paraj Awali or something with Microsoft, not quite like Ballmer, not quite like Gates, but just more of a steady capital allocation styles when you'll see typically. But the founder CEOs, they're the wild cards, Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I only say it to you because, you're a
kind of
semi, close enough.
Yeah, I'm a fan of founder CEOs. I think it depends on the type of business you're trying to run. They're going to be much more, like you said, willing to go risk on. They're going to be part of the growth phase. But if you're talking about a business that's been around 10, 15, 20 years and you're maintaining more than growing, I think having an established CEO that's got experience doing it is fine, but I think you can make it work either way.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook or Meta, I would say the shareholders are happy, the investors are happy at least. All right, Meta's virtual reality and metaverse division, Reality Labs, has posted its 7th straight quarter of losses, but the Zuck man remains steadfast in investing in the tech, which he calls a massive opportunity. I think we all agree here. In addition to the losses, the rev was been trending down since 2021. And its operating margin has been trending down since 2020. The $11.1 billion in revenue and 29% margin posted in Q2 22 are the lowest over the past 7 quarters. They posted a $2.9 billion loss in Q1. Despite the economic troubles, he is confident that the company and its subsidiaries will come out of the current economic downturn as a stronger and more disciplined organization. My favorite takeaway from this shareholder meeting was, he just talked about we're slow in hiring. The economy's about to falter. We're at a really, really tough point. We're losing share to TikTok. And then the first of the pre-recorded questions was, are we going to continue our vacations from the COVID lockdown? And he's like, gosh. Obviously, given the tone of this policy speech, I'm very against. I can't remember the exact quote. Maybe someone could share it in the chat. But it was just a very quick, given the tone of everything I've said, I think you should know how I feel about that. This is, hey, all hands on deck. This isn't time to, I want to work from home. Why? I don't know. That's what the weekend's for, people. That's what the weekend's for. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. And I'm on this, before we move on from the metaverse, I think it's important. He's not fazed by losing almost $3 billion because he knows it's a long-term investment in the metaverse. So if you are, we have a channel, Meta Money, that's all about the metaverse. And a lot of people are excited about getting into the metaverse, learning about the metaverse, earning in the metaverse. Just know it's going to be a long road and you're not going to make money right away. And you're investing in what is the future. And it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years away. But, the investment you're making now, it's worth it. Don't quit before you see it pay off.
TJ's favorite fruit, nectarine.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's good. That was really good. All right,
Yeah.
T-Cash. That was good.
All
All right,
that T-Cash. She also told me to brace myself. That was another good one.
Okay, T-Cash got the fire.
Yeah, he's bringing it.
FTC sues Meta to stop Facebook parent company from owning the entire metaverse. It's a little much. The plan to purchase VR app maker Within might be scuttled as the U.S. FTC today sued the company to halt the acquisition. I found it pretty fascinating because we haven't seen this since the 90s, I feel. In an announcement today, the agency alleged that Meta is attempting to stifle VR fitness competition from independent studios by purchasing the studio behind the leading app in the space rather than developing its own rival program. The commission voted 3-2 in favor of filing the suit to block the deal. Of course, this doesn't mean it won't happen. It just means it's going to the court. FTC's case is based on ideology and speculation, not evidence, wrote Nikhil Shanbag, Meta VP and Associate General Counsel, Competition and Regulatory. The idea that this acquisition would lead to anti-competitive outcomes in a dynamic space with as much entry and growth as online and connected fitness is simply not credible. I think it's a little bit of them testing the waters. They don't want to go after Meta for something big. So, start small, which would be, hey, what are you doing with the fitness apps? I think Microsoft got in the crosshairs just for one portion of their business, which was Netscape. I believe this is what they came after them for in the 90s. It was automatically putting you on Netscape instead of giving you an option, I believe. Or maybe it was email. I don't know. It was one of those things. So, that's what they'll do. They'll see a part of your business, they'll chip after that, and they'll say, hey, this little division, kind of too big for this. So what's going to happen? I don't know. I think, I don't know if it's actually necessary. I mean, by definition, game consoles have a monopoly similar to the App Store, similar to the Google Play Store. So it's a weird area because Mario is a Nintendo game. Nintendo makes the best Nintendo games. Xbox made the best Xbox games. Sony made some of the best Sony games. So maybe Meta would make some of the best Meta games. I don't know. It's a weird. I'm a gamer, so I'm like, I don't really see it that big a deal.
I don't either.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm with you. You read that story, I'm like, okay, so
yeah, so
that happens all.
It's
the
a fitness
time.
app. Like
Yeah.
it's not that big a deal. All right. One of my favorite people. No, out of prison, Shkreli plans Web3 drug discovery platform backed by crypto. It is going to be the new Silk Road. You could buy mushrooms and no, this is for farm. This is the farmer, bro. Oh, I was thinking the guy that like shows up at the keg party at the college dorm. Like, hey guys, anyways. The notorious ex-pharma executive, fresh from prison after his 2017 fraud conviction, announced his latest eyebrow-raising venture on Monday, creating a blockchain-based Web3 drug discovery platform that traffics in his own cryptocurrency, MSI, aka Martin Shkreli Inu. Oh, geez. You know what? I was like gonna try to give him the benefit of a doubt. Then I saw Inu in the name, and I am not into that at all. Shkreli, who's named as a co-founder of DrugLike, says the platform aims to make early-stage drug discovery more affordable and accessible. DrugLike will remove barriers to early-stage drug discovery, increase innovation, and allow a broader group of contributors to share the rewards, Shkreli said in the press release. I mean, he kind of burnt all his goodwill, right? In that conversation, he scoffed at the idea that the platform would breach his lifetime ban from the pharma industry, saying that the project involves only developing software, not drugs. Writing some code in GitHub and pressing go does not make you a pharmaceutical company. Kind of has them there. But as software is integrated more and more industries, it's going to be more of a gray area, keeping them away from that. Yeah, he lost all credibility when he was bragging about jacking. Was it an HIV medication or cancer medication? Yeah, that doesn't seem like a good guy, right?
Yeah, I think they raised it over 5,000% overnight.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't. I'm not investing in this one. Put it that way.
I'm not buying anything with Inu in the name. Mark Cuban's doing some really cool stuff with pharmaceuticals. He's trying to, decrease the costs. This is just an extreme example, but there's one. It was a child leukemia medication that costs $10,000 a month, and I think he got the price down to like $89 or $93 a
Yeah,
month,
that's cool.
something crazy like that. And a lot of times, it's not the pharmaceutical companies; it's the middlemen, and there might be 13 middlemen from made in the factory and then administered to you in the hospital. Plus the hospitals, getting their little cut. So yeah, everybody's getting a little piece. Next thing you know, what costs $90 is now $10,000. And yeah, it seems like Mark is doing some pretty good things. Wasn't the biggest fan of that guy for a while. He kept calling for regulation with crypto and stuff, and always thought he was a little bit of a blowhard on Shark Tank. But I kind of like what he's doing now. Do I think it's because he's trying to be president in 6 years? Yeah, but that's fine too. I don't really care the motivation as long as some good outcomes happen.
Yeah, it's good for crypto.
All right, big bets on Web3. Very true. DeFi continue despite crypto concerns. 10T Holdings that believe there exists an opportunity play in the current downturn with some crypto firms valued much less than in months prior. Trust us, we know. Every time we open our apps, casting an eye across the crypto industry, participants would be forgiving for thinking multiple sectors, including DeFi and Web3, are in trouble. Though to some, like Stan Murishnik, partner at mid to late stage equity firm focused on digital assets, 10T Holdings, unique opportunities for investment in the market still exist and are beginning to turn around. Yeah, there's always going to be opportunity. There's always going to be that time to get that next 100x. When asked about the fund's short-term, mid-term outlook, Murishnik said, money's in the waiting, not the trading. We say that all the time. Time in the market beats knowledge in the market. That is why we say, look, it's boring now. It's a bear market. It's going to trade sideways for a while. Maybe it goes lower. Maybe 17 was the bottom. I don't know. I'm at this point, who knows? I don't want to say I think, this is for sure going to happen. I just kind of throw out percentages. I say, less than half of me thinks. I would say I'm think we do go lower, but I'm not at 90%. I'm not at 99%. I'm certainly not at 100%. But this is where money's going to be made. It's time in the market. You want to be in now. You want it to be boring for a year or two because that's what's going to give us that parabolic run up. If you ever see that chart where it looks like that spring's loading and it's getting tighter and it's getting tighter and it's getting tighter, then boom, December 2020 Bitcoin, boom, that's when you're going to see all those nice parabolic run ups. So, hey, we're okay with it being boring. Time in the market. That's why we appreciate you watching right now. Bitcoin's, it's a little low. It ain't 69K. We're not dancing, in the rooftops, shirtless going, woo! I want to. I fell off my roof. That's what happened. Oh yeah. Scar reveal.
Oh wow.
Scar reveal.
Look at that.
Pretty sick.
Makes you look like a badass.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like there's a baby in a hot car. I had to punch the window. I wrapped my fist, but the glass got my wrist. So I don't know. Make something up. What's your go-to lie gonna be?
I'm gonna say I got jumped by a group of people. One of them had a knife, and I came out on the other side.
Okay, were they asking about it was like crypto people asking about what's happening with XRP?
Yeah, no,
tell us or else.
It was Celsius Investor. Unfortunately,
too soon.
Yeah,
too soon. I got to sip on that one. Bye, Tuies.
Yeah.
All right. When asked about the funds short to midterm, he said, okay, yeah. So money's in the waiting, not the trading. And he was providing somewhat sage advice for retail and institutional investors seeking to follow in lockstep the capital deployment of some of the industry's bigger funds. Yeah, I mean, now we're starting to see, I think Berkshire Hathaway started buying lately. Really? We're seeing some whale wallet movement. So, hey, swim with the whales. We say it all the time, or you get eaten. All right, let's move on to the material girl. Bored Ape 3756. Madonna hell-bent on buying the 1.3 million Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT. Now deemed it's too expensive. She was worth more than $500 million. Said she was obsessed with this Bored Ape. I looked at this ape. It's a cool looking ape. It's the rainbow tooth leather jacket. When asked if its traits were inspired by the singer, Eagle Labs told Decrypt via email they aren't necessarily designed or modeled after anyone specifically. Madonna, whose net worth is $575 million and has raked in $1.2 billion over her career, ended up acquiring 4988 instead, and the crypto payments company handed over 180 ETH for the NFT back in March, transferred it to her wallet. This is the one she got on the right. Looks pretty cool. Got the same jacket, but she wanted this one. it's definitely cooler, right? I
Way
think this
cooler.
is I like it. Which one do you like?
Definitely the one on the left. I'm still tripping out. She spent $500 million. It said she made over 1.2 billion, but she's worth 500
Yeah, I
million.
was looking at that too. I wonder if it was
I
I
mean,
wonder if
maybe.
that's like this is what my tour grossed, but then we're not thinking about arena fees,
Yeah,
paying or stage hands.
maybe.
Maybe something like that, you know?
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's wild. I can't. Can you imagine spending $500 million? Like
Yeah, I do it
actually
every night
spending it?
when I go to sleep.
There you go.
No. I'm a simple man with simple desires.
We know.
I'm trying to move. I just want some AC. I just want some movers that show up.
Yeah.
Quick story. Took a half day yesterday, that's why I
Yeah.
didn't do ATB. Movers coming. It's a Hispanic guy. My last name's Valdez. My dad's born in Mexico. I can do this accent. It's okay. Called on the phone. Hey, instead of 2, hey, it's gonna be between 2 and 3. Okay, that's cool. Calls me 2:30. Hey, man, the truck broke down, man. Wait, what? Yeah, man, mechanical problem. We can't come over. So didn't move yesterday.
Oh
I'm like,
gosh.
Jesus. I was
Brutal.
calling other people. They're all like next month. Like on
Wow.
the 3rd, on the
Yeah.
5th. I had one person say the 1st. That was the best. So when I jumped on this person, they said maybe Friday morning. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, all right. Let's talk a little XRP Matic here. Let's see. I think it's enormous 40 million XRP shovel decentralized exchange. Here is why. Another massive transaction appeared on chain as anonymous whales. Ooh. Shoveled around 40 million coins worth almost 15 million to the centralized exchange. The address that conducted the transfer is now worth less than 100 XRP. Is this Jeb's wallet? The wallet has been constantly making various 50 to 150 million XRP transactions on centralized exchanges. I'm assuming this is a different wallet.
Yeah.
Talking about price, unfortunately, the 13% increase was not enough for XRP to break that first resistance on the chart and almost immediately return to the local low of 31 cents, which shows a lack of buying power from bulls on the market as of press time, looking about 35%. Lost about 1% in the last 24 hours after the rate hike positivity fading from the crypto market there. So, yeah. All right, but now let's talk a little Polygon. Polygon announces plan for second half after hitting significant milestones in H1, which is the first half of this year. I'll say the Disney thing is pretty huge. In a recap shared on its official blog post, Layer 2 scaling platform Polygon, formerly known as Matic, discusses its journey in the first half of the year, in which several of its milestones have been met. Looks like if you go to their Twitter, kind of break down all of them, the Layer 2 scaling platform says it undoubtedly has massive plans for the rest of the year, which will focus on 3 key areas. Okay, they're focusing on 3 things: products, events, accelerators. Products, events, accelerators. Has a mission to onboard 1 million devs to the Polygon
Wow.
ecosystem. That is huge. If they get 1 million devs, good job.
Yeah.
Hey, a lot of people, it's a double-edged sword with their partnerships. I didn't really think about it this way. I saw a tweet at maybe it was Cardano Whale or somebody, and they said, we're celebrating these coins partnering up with, giant mega corporations like Disney, which is very, very centralized. And is that what we want? Do we want them to come in because they have to, or do we want partnerships on the corporate level? Kind of torn. I mean, I think it's going to be a combination of both that gets us to the promised land. So you know what? I hedge my bets. I have some coins a little more centralized than the others. There's more of those cigar smoking, handshaking, leather chair deals. Who's happening in Davos? Maybe you want a little exposure to those type of coins. And I would say Polygon is leaning towards centralized for sure, with their accelerator program. But hey, someone has to pay the light bill, someone has to pay the website, so centralized doesn't necessarily mean it's terrible. In spite of his campaign against all, Gary Gensler has Annabelle Lee LLC, which runs like 100 million in his fortune, completely unregistered.
Yeah, I did see this. I saw somebody talking about this on Twitter. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. They're referencing Gary Gensler having basically somewhat level separated LLC that's trading stocks, securities,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And very similar to what's going on with Pelosi and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's true. I have a hard time believing people wouldn't sniff that out, but these days, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, maybe is there media publication that's paid off? Yeah, probably. But there's definitely some publications that would jump on that if that was a true
Yeah.
story. Maybe the facts are hard to define. Maybe we need like a Panama Papers style hack to figure out who owns these LLCs. So hey, maybe something worth looking into. It looks like all the chatter about Pelosi, House Democrats are maybe going to try to pass a bill barring representatives from trading. So when we make enough noise, that's change can happen. But we have to, if you're in a party. I'm not party affiliated, left or right. I don't think TJ is either.
No.
If you're in a party though, and that's what you're about, more power to you. I certainly was when I was younger. Focus the light on your own side as often as the other side, and that's how change will get made. It's when you say, well, what about the, someone points out a fault with your party. Hey, your party is doing X, Y, and Z. You say, well, what about that party? No, you need to say, that's right. And let me be intellectually honest. And yeah, what we're doing is wrong. And also, but don't say, but what about? That's just my 2 cents.
No, that's actually good advice for life. You can apply that to yourself also. Don't look at what other people are doing. Look at what you're doing and what you could do that might get you a different result if
Yeah.
you're unhappy.
All right, probably one more quick hit, maybe a little Q&A. This one I found actually pretty interesting. FTX.us introduces stock trading for the U.S. residents. The American arm has expanded its horizons into stocks, announced that customers can now trade leading stocks like Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, and among others. To start, this isn't going to be a profitable endeavor for us at Harrison. Our goal is to be able to add this additional service for our customers to help bolster our existing business. At Davos 22, FTX.us disclosed that they're on the course to create the first ever real-time 24 hours margin for futures, unlike other clearinghouses where they're only done once a day. So, hey, I mean, good news. To say that it's not going to be profitable gives me a little bit of a hope because Robinhood made their profit from selling your information so the big houses, big clearinghouses can front run you. So maybe this is them saying, hey, we're not going to try to front run our customers. I think that would be a huge, huge win for stock trading and just Sam Bankman-Fried in general. Hey, don't let the bean counters run this product. You run the product. You do it the right way. I think a lot of Robinhood people are going to jump over because, yeah, if you didn't know this, when you buy stock on Robinhood, they front run you and make those like little micro percentages off you. Sure, it doesn't seem like that much. I bought $200 worth of a stock. What they make, 2 cents. When you multiply that by, 80 million monthly active users, I don't know what their number is. I'm just, throwing some out there. It starts to add up. Okay, those 2 cents start to add up. But all right, I think we're going to wrap it up. We're running a little late here. It's been a great show. You got the little Ben and Beezy. And
You can't be pro censorship and pro Bitcoin.
I just want to say that. Oh, yeah, I got to sway. Oh, I meant to not blink. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. All right, till next time, Bit Squad. Easy out.